What's happening? Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, the 26th of September. Obviously, I'm not Rev Melissa. Rev Melissa is still on location in Oregon, so I'm holding it down for her here on the Living Life Enjoy show. So just a reminder, this show is about talking to people who are living their lives in joy and who are connected to their yes and letting them share their light with the world. So I got a special guest for you today. We're going to be talking to Miss Fee King. I'm going to introduce her in just a second. So as Rev Mel would say, let's go, let's set, and let's ready. You know, I still can't believe I made that beat. That beat is hot. That beat is hot. I made that. So if you're wondering how I made that beat, go look at some of the earlier episodes. So anyway, once again, this is Living Life Enjoy. I'm talking to Fee King, so let me jump right into it. Fee King, the founder of Fee King Holdings, does a lot of things. She reminds me of somebody I know. She does a lot of different things. So here are just a few of the many things she does. So as a fitness advocate, she serves personal training clients all over the country. And she's also appeared on TV multiple times to promote her brand, Fee's Fitness Over 40. I'm going to put that up on the screen. Look at that. So you can look at that while I talk about the other things she does. As an inspirational speaker, she's won numerous awards and been certified as a competent communicator by Toastmasters. As a writer, she's the author of not one, but two different motivational books, The Cavalry Ain't Coming, You Get to Save Yourself, and How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. They're both available on Amazon. Check those out. And as a performer, you've seen her many times on stage and screen and commercials. She's traveled the world and even gone to Edinburgh, Scotland to promote her autobiographical one-woman show, Mama Was a Bad Mother. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others the myth, the legend, Miss Fee King.
I love that.
How you doing?
That intro was dope. I'm well, Sekou. How you doing?
You like your little drum roll?
That was hot.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Yes.
Okay, so the theme for Living Life Enjoy this month is love. So let's start off with the easy one. So of all the things that I listed you do just now, what is the thing you love the most and why?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. I love so many things. Is it based on the things that you listed only?
No, because that's my next question. What are the things that I did not list that you'd like to talk about? Let's get into those too, because there's a lot of things.
There's a lot of things
left out. There's a lot of things still on the table.
I'll answer the first part based on what you showed. The thing that I love the most is writing, producing, performing my one-woman show. I love that so much.
Yeah. And so for those people who are just being introduced to you now, tell us about your one-woman show. Tell us about that and how you ended up in Edinburgh, Scotland.
I know, right? A Black girl from Omaha, Nebraska, right?
Right.
So, you know, I wrote the show. Initially, I wrote the show, or what I thought I was going to write was about my longtime desire to be a video dancer. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not.
It was my dream to be in Salt and Pepper's videos, MC Light, Lil' Kim, all of them. I always wanted to be a dancer, but I didn't do the things that were required of me to become a dancer. So I took this writing workshop because I thought that that was the story that I wanted to tell about how I wanted to be a dancer, but didn't quite make it. Like I tried out for cheerleading squads in Houston and I was just like, wow. And I thought, wow, what such a kind of shallow story. And so what was birthed was my one-woman show. It's as if the show wrote itself. And it was out of the need to heal my relationship with my mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little more about that? You're just going to drop that and back that? Come on now. You can't just leave it there. So tell us about that. Tell us about you healing your relationship with your mother, because that sounds like it's ultimately about love.
It was ultimately about love and me learning to love and forgive myself, love and forgive my mother. And so instinctively or intuitively, I believe I always knew at the age of 30 something, I realized I had a feeling that my mother wasn't going to live to be an old woman. And I said, ooh, we need to heal this relationship. But I didn't know how. It's not like you can go, and I wasn't able to go to my mom and say, hey, we need to sit down and heal this relationship. And so I felt like once the show started writing itself, that I could share with her how I was feeling about our relationship, about myself, and about her. And initially it was a lot of blame. Like I was blaming my need for happiness on her actions. You know, I was like, okay, if you didn't do this, then I could be happy. If you would stop doing this, then I could be happy. And what I realized was, no, you get to be happy right now, and you get to accept and forgive your mother for who she is and what she did, because you also could benefit from forgiving yourself. And so when I showed my mom the show, it was a snippet, 12 minutes. I was so nervous, Sekou. And so my sister said, I'm going to fly home with you to support you. She was like, 'cause girl, right? Yes. And so Nikki flew back to Omaha with me. I had a 12-minute VHS tape. And at the time I put the tape in, my mom had been drinking. So my mother was a highly functioning alcoholic until she wasn't. So I put the tape in and she's watching it. And then 12 minutes later, she said, oh, your legs look good. Girl, you got some pretty legs. And Nikki looked at me and I looked at Nikki. And later on, Nikki just said, she's not ready. And I said, okay. And something, again, intuitively told me to continue with it. So went from 12 minutes to now it's about an hour and 25 minutes long. And in and out of my mother's sobriety, she ended up moving to LA. I was performing the show. I took the show to Omaha, which is where we're from. She flew from LA to Omaha to support me. She was the caterer. She cooked the food. And she said to me, it's a really good show. I think you should continue to do it. Oh, and I was like, all right.
And you got the pretty legs.
Yes, I get to keep working on these legs because she always thought I had pretty legs. So that means a lot. Yeah.
That's a great story. And it's so interesting that this whole week, Rev Melissa has been talking about spiritual partnerships, spiritual relationships, rather, and not just love relationships, but relationships we have with family. And there's so much blame that's automatically a part of those relationships, right? It's so easy to point the finger, and it's really hard to wrestle the finger back around to ourselves and to get to the place where you get to say, I can choose how I feel right now. I don't need approval. I don't need anything else from anybody to choose how I feel. That's a big lesson. So if you got that through this journey, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So where can we see the play? Like, is it available for the folks that are just now learning about Miss Fee King and her play? I'm sure they're curious now. So let's just get that out the way now. How can people see it? Can people support it? What's the deal with that?
Sekou, I have a dear friend. He's more than a friend. He's like an advisor. He's like my therapist. He's like my publicist, my PR agent. And he's been telling me for years, Fee, you should turn your one-woman show into a digital medium where people can see it online. Initially, it was VHS, and I was just like, no, because, it doesn't translate well. And I had 1,000,001 excuses. And so I never did it. But people can see clips on my YouTube page, which is FeeKing. So it's youtube.com/FeeKing. You can see, I think it's about 6 minutes. And maybe in the near future, I'm going to have it edited, and maybe my friend will put his, ooey ooey on it and edit it and make it fabulous. And in the near future, my intention is to be on the road again performing it. That is my intention.
So,
Absolutely.
so I got to meet this guy who's giving you all these tips. Sounds like a cool person.
You know, he's like my twin flame, I believe. He's
Good.
pretty dope.
There we go. So I just put the website up for those of you who are joining us. Check it out, fee-king.com. All right, so let's do a Won't He Do It story. People are going to be seeing this on Sunday. I'm sure there's a Won't He Do It. Like I just heard a Won't He Do It just now. So maybe it's that one, but maybe you want to tell another one. Tell us a Won't He Do It story from your life, your journey.
Oh my gosh, Sekou, these are great questions. Won't he do it? I mean, what won't he do? There's been so many stories. I'm just gonna jump in and start with what comes to mind first. So this is what he will do. He'll take a woman who was 47 years old, who suddenly, it seemed as if it was suddenly, as if it happened overnight, as if she had no control, no say so, no contribution to her entire life falling apart. And what he'll do is he'll give her the wisdom and the drive and the faith and the focus to go from where she was to where it is she wanted to be. And she didn't even know where she wanted to be. She just knew she didn't want to be there. So I was in a situation at the age of 47 where it seemed magically I lost everything. More importantly, I felt like I lost myself. But what I realized is that I didn't. I thought I lost myself, but I didn't. I was able to get myself from a situation in a foreign place. I was living in Orlando, Florida. I had no friends, no family. I was in a relationship that I wasn't serving and it wasn't serving me. And I needed to start over. And I had no money. I had no job. I was able to get myself from there to Bowie, Maryland, live with my sister, which was a great support system. And I was able to start my life over, just day by day, rebuilding. And I think the smartest thing I decided to do was to become a Lyft rideshare driver without any judgment. Like for me, I said, I need to meet people. I need transportation. I need to make money immediately. I need not go into a corporate setting. And I need to land so that I can figure out what part of the region I'll eventually live in. And Lyft supported all of those things.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And it reminds me of something that I was listening to the other day. There's a guy, he calls himself the Wall Street Trapper. Are you familiar with him?
The Wall Street Trapper?
Yeah, so we have to have a whole different side conversation about that guy. Okay. But anyway, he left a 6-figure job and slept on his aunt's couch for years to recalibrate, to get himself together, because he didn't like where he was and he had a bigger vision for himself. And he said, you shouldn't feel any kind of way about doing what you have to do. And Garyvee says the same thing. A lot of people know Gary Vaynerchuk. He goes by Garyvee. He talks a lot about just doing what you got to do, like to get yourself to the place where you want to be. And just to circle back, Wall Street Trapper is now a multimillionaire, but he wouldn't have become a multimillionaire if he hadn't taken a step back and done what he needed to do to get himself right. So good for you for just doing what you got to do to make it happen and to move to the next level.
Thank you for sharing that. That inspires me because I strongly feel that way. And I think it's important, and it's not easy for us to not be kind of married to other people's opinions of us, especially once you get to a certain age. Society really places on you who you should be, what you should be doing, where you should be. And I just no longer live in a space of shoulds.
Yeah, should is a bad word. Should is a 4-letter word. It really is. We should be taught that should is a 4-letter word and can't is a 4-letter word. Those are bad words that we should not ever use.
And try.
Awesome. Great.
We ought not use those words ever again.
Exactly. So now I wanted to say a little bit more about Garyvee because he talks about this a lot, and he has this great story where he talks about he was grown, adult, graduated high school, college, and was working in a liquor store, and his friends would come in to buy liquor to go party it up on the yacht, the big party, whatever. He's selling them liquor, right? And he felt so, let me rephrase that. He didn't feel bad about it. He was clear about his goal, but he understood how they perceived him. Yeah. But now he's a billionaire. Like now he's known the world over. And those folks are just doing, regular things. So he had a vision for himself, and he was able to maintain his vision as he did those things that he needed to do to get there. So yeah, that's a won't he do it for all of us? Stay the path. Okay, so the name of the show is Living Life in Joy. So let's get to some joy questions. So what does joy look or feel like to you?
It absolutely is a feeling. It's a feeling of competency. It's a feeling of peace, calm, amidst what could look like a storm. Right? Just this morning, Sekou, I was on a walk jog, and I was almost brought to tears because I said, my God, I am so happy right now in this moment. I don't know what my accounts are showing. I don't care. I am just so filled right now because I get to do everything that I want to do. And this morning, I got to train women virtually live for free. And I was like, you know what? I want to inspire women specifically, but not exclusively, every single day in every aspect of my life, whether it's the grocery store, whether it's the cleaners, whether it's in an airport, whether it's on a stage, whether it's in a car, whether it's on this jog. And I felt so complete. And I don't have everything that I want, but I have everything that I need. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have everything that I need. I don't need anything else other than what I have right now in this moment. Amen. So for me, that is utter joy.
That's joy, and won't he do it? And all the things combined. That's amazing. So gratitude is the way, and everyone talks about it, but it takes a long time to get it. Gratitude is the path through whatever it is you're going through. So I'm glad you mentioned gratitude. And also you mentioned that, like, what sounds like a mission. Do you have a mission to help women? And is that what I'm hearing mixed in there somewhere? Tell me about your mission in terms of personal training. What's your goal?
Well, again, another great question. My publicist, PR, my therapist, this guy he's really been that for me. And he's helped me to better define that. And I think, and when I look back at what I love about Facebook is Facebook constantly reminds you of who you were or weren't. And I said, oh my God, I needed to be reminded that this is who I've always been. This is what I've always done. I have been doing this subconsciously, innocently, at least ever since I've been on Facebook, which is 12 years. So my mission is to uplift, inspire, encourage, and equip women over the age of 40 specifically, but not exclusively, to live the life of their truest desire and dreams at that age, whether you are 40, 45, 50, 58, 68, 72, 88. You still have time and you're not too old. That's it. That is what I am doing. That is what I will do on a bigger scale, but that is what I'm doing every single day. Just yesterday, can I share a really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just yesterday, I had a massage client. She's my personal training client. I trained her and her mom together. She's, I think, 42. As we were driving, I told her I would take her home because I had another client to go to. She shared with me that she wasn't working. I was like, oh my God, right? But not one time in her share did I think, oh, she's not going to be able to afford to train with me. It never even crossed my mind until she brought it up later on. She said to me, Fee, I don't know what to do. I have no idea what the next step is. And what I really think I want to do is I want to be like you. I want to be an entrepreneur. I was so flattered. And I said, if you want my help, let me know. Because one thing I want everyone to know is being an entrepreneur is 24 hours a day. Not everybody is built for it, but the reward is so incredible because I get to feel free. I get to do whatever I want or not want every single day. And there's a price to pay for it. But when she said that to me, I said, I'm indirectly inspiring her all this time. And who knew? And it was confirmation for me. I was like, God, thank you. This is what I do. This is what I've always done. I just didn't know that it could be a career. Even as a little kid, I remember, the older kids telling me that I inspired them. Well, you make me so happy, little girl. And I was just like, okay. I didn't know that I didn't know, but now I have an inkling of what I do. just by showing up as I am, just who I am.
So it looks like you always had a big spirit, even when you were a kid.
Right. And I think a big spirit can be intimidating to people who can't really, because we like to identify and label things. And so if you're not able to identify exactly what that is, then you mislabel it. So I know I was mislabeled for all of my childhood, most of my young adult life. And it was just like, no, this little kid just has a big spirit and a big energy and a big dream and big visions. And it needed to be harnessed. But thank God, the universe brought all of the right people into my life at the right time to harness it. So I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Exactly where I'm supposed to be in this moment.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Right. All right, so let's keep going with these joy questions. So Reverend Mel, the usual host of the show, often says that she is living life in joy. So what are you living life in, Fee? What are you living life in?
I am living life in purpose.
Tell us about it.
I am living life in purpose and on purpose. Yes.
Tell us about it.
I'm so clear on my purpose. I'm so clear on exactly what I am supposed to do, and I'm doing it every single day. Example, I met someone about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. We were having a phone conversation, and within maybe 15, 20 minutes, this man said to me, you know, my company is hiring. And as soon as he said that, I'm thinking, how did we get here? We were talking, we hadn't even gotten into what I do for a living. And I thought, okay, God, is this a sign? And then I was like, no, it's a test. It's a test to make sure that you're clear on exactly who you are and what you want. And so I listened to what he had to say, and I said, okay. I said, I'm not looking. I said, I don't even have a job. I said, I have a purpose. So I'm so clear. And he said, well, and then I thought, is there something about me that looks or feels unstable? Right? You know, I started to internalize it. He said, I'm going to send you the link. What's your email? And I just said, you know what? I think this is more about him than me. I said, okay. I never even opened the link. About a week later, he called and he said, did you get that application? I said, I don't know. I said, but I don't think I was clear. I am so appreciative and thank you so much. I said, but I'm not interested. I said, I have a career, I have a path and a purpose. I said, and I'm not going to let anything or anyone allow me to deviate from that. I said, I'm so clear on where I'm going. And he said, yeah, but wouldn't it help to have a little more money? How do you know I don't have a little more money?
Right.
I mean, it was just options made. And I thought, is there something that I'm doing or saying? And then I was like, no. And all you need to continue to do, you get to say thank you, but no thank you. And that's what I did. I didn't even open the application. I don't want to know how much they're paying because there's not enough money for me to commit my time to building someone else's dream. I'm just not interested in that ever again.
Amen. Amen.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Won't he do it? And I love that you said that you were wondering if it was a sign and then you realized it was a test. Because doesn't that happen to all of us? When these things happen and we're like, ooh, is this a sign? But when you're clear about your purpose, as you say, when you know where you're going, it's always a test. I call it the oh really man. The oh really man is going to show up like, oh really? Oh really? You think you're doing something? You think you're doing something? He's going to tempt you.
Son,
that's when you got to stay the course. You got to stay the course. And then it gets easier and easier to make the choice to choose you and to choose your purpose over and over again. You just got to do it. You got to lock in on that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your joy song. What's your joy song and why? What's the song that gets you moving and grooving?
I have to watch myself because I was like, make sure you don't overdo the dance moves to this song. Hands down, Leandria Johnson and there's a guy, forget his name, but the name of the song is Grace.
Okay, tell us about Grace. I don't know that one.
I walk by faith. I'm blessed. I'm kept by the best, blessed Everybody say grace. I mean, when this song comes on, for some reason lately, Pandora hasn't allowed me to rewind. And I was like, yo, so I had to upgrade the account just so that I could rewind grace.
Just for that song.
Just for that song. Oh, that song is so powerful. I love that song so much. I love the beat. I love every single lyric. I had a public speaking event. It was a keynote and it was recorded. And one of the questions is if you had a theme song that played in your head and that you could be introduced to this song, what would it be? And so I sang it. I'm a terrible singer, terrible. And that's okay, because I will do some karaoke and I will make it look like I know what I'm doing, but it's real bad. But I get so pumped, like I fool you. You like, oh, get it, girl. And like, she sounds horrible, but she's so into it. And that's how I feel when that song comes on. That one and just about everything Anthony Brown does. Gospel singer, everything he does is lit. I don't even use that word, but that's how fire it is.
That's what's up. You're making me think about Kevin Hart when he does that bit about he's going to make you think that he's singing, but he's not going to do anything. He's going to point and open his hand.
Yes.
And do the karaoke. Trick them.
That's what I do. I put on lip gloss before I get started, and I said, "Where my ladies at? Where my ladies at?" It's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
So, what is the theme of the song? What is Grace about?
The theme of the song is knowing that grace, God has given you grace.
Okay.
And that's essentially it. And she talks about knowing that she walks by faith and she's kept by the best, and nothing that she has accomplished is of her own doing. She knows that this is all God. And so I didn't grow up in the church, and my mother told me that we believed in God. I was like, oh, okay. But we never went to church, but we believed in God. We never had a Bible, but I was like, okay, but we believe in God. And I always had a seeking spirit, always. So my auntie would take us to the Kingdom Hall. And I just remember, when I would come home, my mom would say, how was church? And I was like, it was so boring. And so church was so boring to me, but I still had a seeking spirit. So I would seek it out on my own. But I realized that God was bringing people into my life to introduce and expose me. So random people would just take me to church. Honestly, I don't even remember who a lot of these people were, but I was always in somebody's church. When I moved to Houston, I was 21, and I took myself to Wheeler Avenue Baptist Church, and I got baptized by myself, no friends, no family, didn't even know what it was, but I just felt like, I think I'm supposed to get baptized. I want to get baptized. So I got baptized, continued to go to the church. But again, I was like, I don't know, there's just something missing. And so for me, I realized that it's the relationship is more important than the physical, the building itself. So I'm more of a spiritual person, hands down. Sometimes I go to church, but my relationship with God is 24 hours all day. It's very personal. It's very intimate. I don't feel like I need to know scripture, because there was a time where I was like, okay, I feel like I need to know some scripture. Let me get the Bible out and rehearse and then remember. And I was like, you don't need to do any of those things that you think you need to do. You just need to be present and be honest. And so now I'm just present and honest, and I like what I like, and I don't like what I don't like.
Amen. 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 So the time has just flown by. I just looked at the time and we're out of time already. I could talk to Miss Fee King all day, but folks, check her out, fee-king.com. Go to her website, support her projects, nudge her about that play, because you definitely want to check that out. And let's see, today is Sunday, so you'll be seeing me again on the Be Your Own Hero show, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'm there all week. Season 2 starts Monday, where I'll be talking about spiritual financial literacy. What? Ooh. Yeah, we talk about money all next week, so come back and check me out and watch Rev Melissa at 10:30 Eastern, also Monday through Friday. So check us out tomorrow, Monday. All right, thanks, Fee King, for being with us today. Greatly appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Sekou.
And folks, I will see you soon. All right, later.